what's the music level? If you can hear the music, let me know. And can you hear me clearly? Hopefully you have, and the fan sounds kind of gone. So let me know that, guys, and then we can continue with the stream. Because it's just going to sort this technical bit out. Too loud, turn it down. Is that the music? Is that any better? About here? Can you hear my voice over the music clearly though? Cool. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. The volume settings for the music in the studio bit and then what I can hear in here are completely different to what you guys will hear, so it's kind of a testing bit. But now that you're all awake, we can start with our stream. So we're going to do a Ben 10 Kaiju, as you can see branded above, and we're going to do GhostFreak. I guess the question for you guys is going to be, should we do it as a landscape or portrait version? I'm not entirely sure which would be best. I suppose if we're doing a scene, landscape's normally better. But yeah, what do you guys want to see? Do you want it landscape or portrait? Let me know in the chat, and what I'll do is I'll do some hellos. So we've got, who do we have? Let's go back up. So I'm going to say hello to Minecraft Transformers. Going back up the chat. We also have Ben, so hi Ben. We have Tegan, hello. Alien Animations, can't wait to see the way that you draw GhostFreak as a kaiju. Do you know what, I'm kind of interested how this one will turn out because I'm not fully sure myself, so this is going to be quite interesting. Crazy for a Day, telling me to turn it down. Alexis and Robotic Artist, howdy. Landscape, Ghost Kaiju seems snaky, kind of, yeah. Aha, so the music paused a second, hang on. It's set to shuffle and loop the playlist. This is always interesting. Have we got any music now for you guys? Because it's going to be very silent on my side. I think we have got something. Hello, Dr. Virus. Owen Hart, hello to you too. Cool. I'll try and keep an eye out on that one. That's going to be a bit of a weird one. If the music does completely stop or I've got some weird technical issues, I will figure something out for that. I'm trying to do it so we don't get adverts on the music, so I've created this playlist within the streaming software, but I've never used it before, so it's going to be quite interesting. Alright, so if we're going for this one, then I guess we're going to have to try and work on the form. Oh, Alien Animations, it's going to be based on the Nightmare form one. It's more interesting and definitely going to be a lot more fun to draw for that. So I'm just going to try and figure out and look at some kaiju references to get some ideas. I suppose I want to start with kind of like this skull. Let's start with the skull of GhostFreak, because I want to keep the skull kind of similar in a sense, I think, for the starting point. I've got a feeling that it's got to be noticeable, so the head's got to be kind of upside down. I'm just going to do a rough GhostFreak style skull from the original series. So stuff like this, you need a reference picture on because it's going to be a absolute nightmare without it to do the. I'm just drawing in the original mouthpiece because I think that's going to be crucial for it to try and work on bits. Maybe if I drag that to the very top. So guys, the music's stopped again. I do know that. I'm just trying to. Alright, let's see if that works. Cool. What have we got? Hinoxy for High Friends. Maybe having him destroy a city with one of his arms up building, possibly. But we'll see. The main thing is the Kaiju before the background. The Kaiju's the key element on this. It's crucial to get a structure that works. I've got a few ideas for the design, but most of it will depend on, like I say, it will actually depend on the Kaiju body itself when we get to that. And I might do a more animalistic skull in a little bit. I just need to get a rough skull shape in place. Exogod, the Ghost Train for the title name. We will see. I'm not sure about the name of this one yet, but we will work on that. Anyway, oh, as another one, yeah, that'd be quite an interesting one then. How have your guys' day been for a Monday? Or how's your day been, guys? It would be a better way of phrasing that. Your day's been that bad or that chaotic just and you don't remember? I would say bad, but probably not bad. Right, so I want to have a neck type. I kind of feel this GhostFreak's going to have like a. It would almost be snaky with its body, you know. So I'm not happy with that. Let's try a different tact. We're going to try a different tactic today, guys. Yeah, I know what you're on about for the skull crawlers. You're on about the things from King Kong, which the lizard things with the skull bits on, which is Not a bad idea, but we will see. Actually, pose-wise, that would be a really good one. If I can see the picture that I'm on about, got in mind. Okay, let's try this again. I kind of want the pose from this one. Weird, if I get the pose right, the whole piece is going to come together quite nicely. Right, I think it's just going to have more. This is really rough, guys. I'm not doing a lot of detail in here just yet. I'm just getting enough to get the core concept of what I'm putting a pop across. Possibly is a rather useful technique for to do a silhouette instead of all the lines, and on something like this where there's a few elements, I think pulling out a few bits that are slightly different might be useful. I also think it takes a while to load the music in each time, so we'll just see what I'll just keep putting it back on here and there. I might have to revert back to the other way of doing it and then work out the finer points of it a bit later on. Hello Zara, welcome to the stream, and hello SS Davin Games, welcome as well. What's up? We're planning out using the silhouette style that everyone refers to as pulling a pop cross to basically create the GhostFreak Kaiju body in a sense. But I also want to. So I'm just mapping out where some of the tentacle bits will go, and then working on the next bit for the body because it's going to be. I want to give it kind of a long neck. This is going to look really bad to start with. Everybody's going to be like, what is he drawing? You know what, I'm going to do something I never really do. Should we just go straight into drawing this? Just whatever comes into my head? So it says, my grandparents are arriving tonight. They haven't been to Canada in like 5 years, so that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be quite cool. Okay, so... I am completely throwing my entire usual process out the window here, guys, just so you know. It's going to be quite interesting, really. I'm figuring out how this is going to tie in. That would be quite creepy. A living Mr. Smoothies holding a Crunchwrap Supreme is right behind me. That'd be very interesting. Can you guys still hear the music okay? Because I think this one's a bit of a quieter tune. Or kind of like a quieter, spooky tune, because I can't hear it in my headphones. Cool. Now that's good. It's one of those really surreal things, this is Davins. I've got it going through the streaming software, so I can't actually hear the music at the volume that doesn't deafen you guys, which is really interesting. Oh, I appreciate that, SS Davin. Yeah, if you guys can, if you haven't already, smash that like button. It does help get the video out to more people on YouTube, which is awesome, and it does help. But yeah, I think if we can get a like goal of around 20 on the video, that'd be quite cool. But if we can get as much of this illustration done tonight as possible, that'd be awesome, because we are so close to hitting our first target of the year for the channel, which would be absolutely amazing. So our first target for the year is the watch time that I've gone on about so much before, but we are very close to that, which is awesome. Oh, I think it's starting to play through them a bit by bit now. Maybe it just waits a second to load them. Or earlier, maybe it was just waiting a little bit to load them. Let's get a GhostFreak reference up just to double check, because it'll be quite cool. Right, let's have a look. So I want some kind of teeth coming out here. I want it to be kind of a bony structure. I will have a look at the chat in a little bit, guys. I can see it moving in the corner of my eye, but I've just got to kind of get some of these bits out of the way first, because yes, we'll get these sorted and it'll be quite cool. Hey, any of you guys see Popcross's Mech Arm episode? I was chatting to Ben on the chat at the start about it a little bit, and I thought it was quite interesting that I know it's a common multiverse thing, but where we did the phobias video, and I said like Popcross has the ability, the dragon can get to any of the creatures that are created out the universe by him. I thought it was quite interesting. Benny taps into all the images from the universe on Popcross's video, which was quite good. Justin, don't worry, I've not spoiled anything. It's just a tiny bit of lore Popcross put into it, but it's not anything major. I will say though, you will love the skit in the kind of like the little skit in it is brilliant. That's all I'm going to say. We won't spoil anything else or anything for it. It's just absolutely amazing. So, in case you guys are wondering about the music, I don't know if it's like everyone's cup of tea or not. I've basically got some music I can use in my videos, kind of like a library, downloaded from a place called Upbeat Premium that I pay a monthly fee to be able to do it on my YouTube channel. And I've got them into groups like dark and dramatic and stuff, and I don't know, I've just basically taken all the individual groups that might sound quite cool. I haven't checked any of the songs in terms of, you know, making a true playlist for live streams yet. I just dropped it in, so hopefully we'll get some really cool tunes. And we might get the odd couple of short ones or something there, but yeah, it'll be quite interesting. Oh, so who paid attention to the community post about this live stream? Because I mentioned something for Friday on it, and I'm just wondering if anybody in here can tell me what I mentioned in it if you have seen the post. If you haven't, don't worry too much about it. But I have mentioned something happening on Friday. Just curious if anybody knows what it is. Justin might have. Yeah, if you have, you'll know what's mentioned on it. I mean, you can always go back into the community tab and have a look. But I did mention something happening on Friday, potentially. Alien animations, you do. Oh, okay. So what did I mention? Let's test this. Feel free to put it in there. Seeing as this is a kaiju, I think we should put the couple more eyes on it, like GhostFreak style eyes. No, Justin, that was for this stream. It was in the text on it for what might be happening. Well, it was kind of. It's not something that hasn't joined the channel in a while. Well, the topic might have been covered slightly before, but it's a potential new series that I'm kind of dropping onto the channel. So we're going to see how that episode goes. I didn't finish the artwork this week though. Time's running out. We're on Monday and it's running out. No, this was kind of crucial, this stream, to get in. Just because of literally how close we are. So fingers crossed I can start working on my next target, which is basically building up the community, which should be a lot of fun for you guys, because it means bringing out more stuff and expanding things a bit more. I think that's kind of looking a bit menacing-y. I want to kind of keep the head similar to GhostFreak's almost original style in a sense, just for the fact of making it recognisable, and then the body's going to be more Kaiju based. Oh, you mean with the kind of like the black and white stripe bits on it? Not sure yet. It's either going to look like that, or it's going to be more like a venomized type Kaiju-y tongue. I haven't quite decided how that's going to look. I'll also add a texture onto it when we get to that point, because I think that will emphasize it a bit more in terms of that. I'm going to add a texture, maybe a bit of a drool or something coming out from it. I'm trying to make this as creepy and nightmarish as possible, basically. So that'll be quite fun and quite cool to do. It's quite tricky to figure out. I've not planned any of this out, so I'm kind of just throwing stuff together on this design. Hopefully it's going to look more creepy and almost kind of scary looking, and once we get a bit more of this in the design, I think the key thing on this is going to be the textures that we get on the skin in that. Hello, Crimagod, how are you? I've got a feeling that kind of comment's never going to go away now, is it? Glad you're good, Kremgod. Right, so I want to do... Well, here's what we've got so far based on GhostFreak. Still working on it and working on the bits that we need, but we're getting there. What else have we got? I think that's the cat caught up. So let's continue with this weird kaiju bit. We want to do some of these tentacles because I've got an idea for some of them, but I also need to do kind of like the kaiju flesh folding back concept. I suppose I've asked a few people before, but who's your favourite Ben 10 character? I'm not really sure on mine. There's a few that I like, but I'm not sure which one's completely my favourite. Actually, no, I'm going to render those out more than anything else. Four Arms for Chromagod. Justin says Alien X and Vampire. All quite cool suggestions. Yes, I've added some weird things onto it. Hello, Galahal19. It's not exactly classical. It's probably from one of the like dramatic or the dark things, and it's done. Basically, what I've got is I've got a playlist running through the streaming software, but I can't actually hear very well what the music is coming out because it's not coming out the monitor. It's actually just going straight to you guys. That does mean though, when I do it and it randomly selects from a whole list of the songs I've got the license to use, it could be anything from these playlists, from energetic to calm to dark, dramatic, inspiring, fun, whichever ones were just selected earlier on today for it. So it's going to be quite interesting. But if I turn the music up, I can hear it, but you guys get deafened by it. But yeah, how's your day been anyway, Galahal19? I'm trying to today I've been trying to get the setup a little bit smoother, so headphone in so I can kind of hear the music's playing, but it's not too loud, it's not coming through the monitor, so you don't get double feedback, and the headphones acting as like a microphone. And then it's pretty much the case of just working through the illustration and the finer points of the live stream aspect. Oh, you've been as busy as a bee, otherwise fine. How about me? I've been the same. Work projects have kept me super busy. We're so close to the target for the first target for the year that I've kind of done a live stream tonight, and it's the plan is to get as much of this done as possible to focus on it so that we can tick that one off the list and then move on to the next one for everyone, which would be quite fun. Galal19 says, hey, what do you think of the latest Star Wars sequels, 7, 8 and 9? Oh, Alien Animations, not a problem. Thank you for joining the stream so far, and we'll catch up with you next time. These are this area, sort of like this chest area here is going to be more complex because it's going to be it's going to have those kaiju kind of blue veins going through it, blue flames. That's because I watched Popcross's thing of the Hades mech armor. Right, so this arm's going to be. Yeah, the music stopped. Let's put something else on. Where does Benton sleep on the scout camp? In a Benton. Oh, they've started. What do I think of the latest Star Wars sequels 7, 8 and 9? Wait, but 7, 8 and 9? So you mean the new ones with Rey and that, like the newer ones? Because out of the newer ones that they did, they also did some prequels as well, if I remember rightly. So I'm trying to remember which ones they are. So you've got the one where you meet Rey, and then the one where Kylo Ren kills his father, and then is there another one after that, or did it just go on to like the prequels, like the Han Solo movie and stuff, and Rogue One? I only thought those two after 6. There's 7 and 8, and then it flipped back to prequels. Or have I missed one? That's a question for you. Which title have I missed? Which ones have I missed? Because I only know of 2 afterwards. Then it goes to a prequel, which is before, which is the Han Solo and Rogue One, which is before the actual well, it's before the original Star Wars trilogy, which starts at number 3. But they're not quite prequels to the first ones as such. They're somewhere slightly in between. Which is kind of yeah, a bit tricky to do, but yeah, unless I've got them completely wrong. But let us know, Galhan19, because the 2 that I saw with sort of like Rey and Kylo Ren, I thought were quite good. There were some bits which could have been made. There's some bits which I thought could have been expanded upon or made better, but all in all, I thought they were really good. Paid quite a good tribute, which is quite good. Yeah, I am a Star Wars kind of fan, but I haven't seen them all. Hello, Ronald Cornelius III. I want to see the drawing. Oh, this one. Okay, this is our GhostFreak Kaiju so far. Which looks a bit odd, but once I've done the proportions and shrunk this down a bit and then looped some around for the back part, which is actually going to be longer and it's going to have its effects, it's going to work quite well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just working on adding some extra elements to it, because I do want to keep some of the concept of GhostFreak, some of the features to make it look and feel like the actual. But also, I've just done a silhouette and gone straight into inking. I've not actually. I don't normally do this, so I'm out of my comfort zone on what I'm doing for the lines. Normally I'd map things out, plan it out in the pencil bit, and then refine the bits on the inking. So this is actually coming out really interesting. And the music stopped again, so let's just sort that back out. I will find a way to get the music continuously going on these, but we're getting there, little steps. One target at a time, now that I've got the potentially the main bulk of stuff out the way. It's working on the, like I say, the watch time target's nearly done. It's working on the other things like the live stream content, the video content, the potential new series starting on Friday, which will be quite good. So that's going to be an interesting one. It kind of branches on a topic that we've used before, but not with this subject matter, which is going to confuse you all because we've used a lot of topics on the channel. Okay, what do I think of the reboots in general? What's the best one I've seen? What's the worst? Phantom Menace is the worst. Not so much for story, because I know it's trying to set everything up. I don't know. I'm tied between Phantom Menace and the last one, Revenge of the Sith, is it? Just before it goes on to the original series. But those two to me are the worst. It just felt like, even though you had all the the effects, the animation, and everything else, you know, like the CGI and that, and the story, it just felt like something was kind of lacking a little bit there. It didn't sit right with me from them. I don't know if I was expecting more story plot, less action. I was expecting more information fillers to tie the stories together. I don't really know. It just felt like it was a bit of it was just something was missing. It didn't have the same impact. In terms of the best out of the newer, you know, the ones that I've seen, sort of like out of the reboots, I do like the latest two. The kind of like the one with Rain. It's sort of like those ones. They went back more to the story and picked up, which was quite interesting. And then obviously bringing Luke Skywalker back in and stuff was quite cool. But it's also a bit of a I don't know. I think I like them more because even though they had the special effects, they had more of a story development in them, which was absolutely amazing. And it kind of like it closed some of the loopholes from the original, how the original ones left, and it also opened up some extra bits, which was quite good. But yeah, I guess the worst ones for me though are definitely the Phantom Menace, in terms of just it felt so much lacking, and then the end of, I think it was Revenge of the Sith, where Darth Vader goes and, you know, Anakin gets into the lava pit and then gets dragged out of it before he becomes Darth Vader. It was like, didn't quite sit well with me, but you know, it is what it is. What about you? What did you think of the reboots? Now, I'm not trying to start an argument with any Star Wars fan. That's just my opinion on them. You mean reboots, not prequels? Wait, so how do you mean? Because I've been talking about the films and stuff, because you're on about them. Are you on about the animated series? Are you on about like Star Wars The Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars, and all of those ones? Are you on about the actual movies in general? Because to me, when you're saying about prequels and stuff, before, when you said about reboots and that, I kind of saw the prequels as the reboot to the franchise, because they were kicking it back in and bringing it back up. May have completely misunderstood that, so apologies if I have. Oh my god, this isn't a reboot movie. This is just drawing. I like the enthusiasm though. I do appreciate it. Oh, okay. Reboot films in general, the worst I've seen, the best I've seen. Um, okay, if we're going in general, what's the worst one I saw? There's one the other day I saw that came out. Okay, I have to say, some of the worst ones I've seen are the Disney ones for the reboots. Not because they're not good. I grew up on the originals, so like the original cartoon of Aladdin, there's a few elements in that, for example, that were done on certain scenes, like when Aladdin goes up to the palace after being made a prince, and they've got like the animals talking. They could have so easily done that with the CGI or something, quite easily, just had Will Smith do the animal bits or something. I get why they haven't, because there's a few bits to keep, you know, they change it, possibly because they don't want to change those bits from the original. But at the same time, if you're redoing it as a live action, there are some scenes in it that, you know, I've seen a lot of them do scenes in some of the Disney ones, as well as some other movies, that just take out something that doesn't seem important, but it adds to the effect, and it's kind of like a key element in it. I mean, I like the film, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was really good. Same as the Karate Kid film with Jackie Chan. That was really good. But that was actually more the Kung Fu Kid, not the Karate Kid. I watched all the original Karate Kids, like all four of them, so it's like, eh. The storyline's the same, but they changed the martial art and moved it. It was an amazing film. It's brilliant, but it wasn't quite as, I don't know. When they change the original too much, when they reboot it, instead of bringing it up to speed, they kind of like go and change some of the core message to try and make it more modern. Sometimes they do lose the essence of it. And then it's the best reboot I've seen. What's the best reboot I've seen brought back? Don't actually know on the best one, in all fairness. That's something I'd probably have to look into to try and figure out, because I don't actually know which the best one would be, or what I would class as the best one. In general, I don't mind reboots. Just to summarise, you know, I don't mind them. I just feel that they need to have somebody who understands the original and the core concept and what made it a great film to make the reboot really great. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. That's all I can say on that. I don't have anything else to say on that one. It's a bit of a weird one. Justin, Dempsey ranking the Palladia starters. I didn't really like. I like the starter forms. I didn't really like most of the evolutions. So top one is Meowscarada. Then it would be the Ducks one, a Quaxil, I think it is. And then it'll be Freykoko, the fire one. Just because I don't like the end form of the fire one, it doesn't. I know I don't like it. I'm drawing something with a skull on its head, and that one's kind of got a flame and skull on its head. I just didn't like. It just didn't look right for the design to me. When I saw it, I was just no. I generally did not like it. That's my personal aesthetic, sort of like how I viewed that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting on that one. I am looking forward to the DLC update that's coming to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, though. Slight change of subject there. Yeah, I do like the Firebird. That was quite cool. I tell you what though, some of the lore in it is really dark. I'm guessing I got some spooky music going by the sound. I haven't really, but then again, I've hardly played it. I need to get a Switch, which is one of my next goals. I also need to get a better external microphone for when I do live streams. So I have, where do I put them? So when I record my audio and my video and that, I've got a lav mic which works really well. It doesn't work well when it's hooked into the phone, which is my camera, into the live stream setup. So I need to get a mic for live streaming. And I also need to get a Switch, which would be quite cool. Gallagher19 says, the worst reboot I've ever seen has to be the 2015 Fantastic Four. They got the cast wrong, they got the story wrong, heck, they even got the cover title wrong. Fantastic Fantastic. I mean, why? Oh, is that the one with for Chris Evans as Johnny Storm? And what's his name playing Doctor Doom? What was he in? He used to be in Charmed. Played Beelzebub, the demon lawyer guy. I kind of think I quite liked that film, but I did think the Rise of the Silver Surfer one that they did afterwards was just as bad. Yeah, Minecraft Transformers, it was Charmed. A crumb question for Dempsey. What is your favourite type of shoe or footwear? Trainers. Just a comfy pair of trainers. Literally, comfy pair of trainers. I need to figure out. I need to put some more music back on. Because, you know, music's good. That's the point. Question for you guys. When the music's not on, and I'm talking, can you hear the fan? Because this was the main thing of trying to get a microphone in and a headset type thing in, is kind of getting reducing the fan noise, making things a bit clearer, making it seem a bit more professional. So that's just a question for you guys. Galamity says, what do you think of The Walking Dead? Personally, I think the Telltale games is better than the show. I don't know about I haven't played those games, the Telltale games, so I don't know, but The Walking Dead series, I think it's like most of those series, once you get into a couple of episodes and you get through, you kind of get hooked a bit, even if you don't know why, which is quite good. But at the same time, it's also a case of I quite liked the series. I never actually watched it all the way to the end. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. No, I never actually watched it to the end. It's somewhat on my list of things to do, but I watched loads of stuff like Z Nation and that. There's a whole zombie series thing coming out at the same time. So I definitely do need to watch that until the end, which would be quite cool. See where that goes and what happens. I guess the catch-22 is time to do everything, because I'm it's like someone in the live stream last Friday you know, said, would I make another channel? It's like a lot of time gets taken up from a channel, especially if you're doing it between a 9 to 5 job, so it's very difficult to do that. Really, I mean, if I was doing YouTube 24/7, you know, like it was my full-time job, and I was getting enough money come in so I could do another channel and see what happens, I would. But other than that, no. You mean sneakers? Yeah, but in the UK they're just trainers. But over where you are, they're sneakers. So a nice, comfy pair of trainers or sneakers. I'm not really worried about the brand or if they're expensive or not. I don't really go for brands very often. I just go if it's a comfy pair, if it's nice to wear, and that's it. That's me happy. How are we doing? We've been going for about an hour, which is about right. And we're a bit further than we normally are on things. But then again, I guess since I'm doing the line art straight in and creating all these line arty bits onto it, then it's that's all these buttons here. Here. Creepy music kicks in. Yeah, I've chucked a few in there, so it's going to be interesting. You may even hear some of the ones that I use in the actual videos from time to time. So some of the more funky tunes potentially. It depends. We'll have to see. In terms of a D&D episode, I do have one planned at some point. We've got D&D Mech Armors. I'm also thinking of another one that I might be able to do. However, that's potentially going to be April, by the time I can get around to do that. As I say, I've got a new series dropping on Friday once I finish off doing some artwork for that, and I'm going to try and do some epic artwork for that. I've got some sorted, but I haven't got all of it done and dusted yet on that one. And then, yeah, it's just working through some other bits. I think I kind of want to have a... I want to give it a kind of a messed up bit. Ah, cool. Well, night SS7. Hopefully the little one settles well, and catch you next time. Thank you for joining. Let's see, so I've got this bit here. You don't always see the ribs, but I kind of want to see something coming through, so I kind of want to do a... So I'm going to do kind of a broken... I'm going to put a tendril on this one. Just to add to the creepiness and to make anybody's OCD go absolutely mental. Justin says, what is something that you consider difficult for you to draw? Well, hands, feet, faces, anything realistic, most of the stuff I draw on the channel. Seriously, there are days when I will find things easy to draw or I make it look easy, like now. Everybody's going to be like, that's easy to draw, you're not having trouble with that. It's like, well, that's practice over time. But originally, when I was drawing Kaiju and stuff, and line art and weights, and I was looking at some of the earlier live streams on the channel earlier on today and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, that's just absolutely random and kind of insane that it looked like that. Some of the earlier artwork as well. Look, I've got some really detailed artwork and I've got some not so detailed artwork. It wasn't consistent. But yeah, hands are the worst thing for me to draw, along with feet. And then, I don't know, I guess if I haven't drawn it before, even with a reference picture, it takes a lot of time to do. The most difficult thing I've had to draw recently is an animal type face. You know when you got like that 3/4 view and you've got like the snout of like a dog or a wolf or something? Even though I can draw dragons, I can't get that right. Really can't. It's really difficult to do for me. I don't know why. There's certain bits of perspective, even though I'm really good at like visual awareness and spatial stuff, I can't grasp that. But that's down to practicing for improvement. Galau19 says, I know it's early days, but how far are you into this month's community redraw episode? I'm as far as looking at a couple of submissions and still where I was Friday. It hasn't progressed from Friday's video, and that's more just a case of it was a manic weekend. It was a very busy weekend, a fun weekend. Did a bit of 10-pin bowling and had a lot of travelling, but it's a case of trying to figure out it's a case of just trying to figure out the last bits of it. It also depends on how many submissions. I've noticed I've not got very submissions recently, so I am going to be changing what the next month's redraw suggestion is. Changing it up. So I'm going to give a heads up. It will be something to do with the venomizing, potentially. I don't know if I'm going to have a second element into it, but there will be venomizing involved. And I will be setting a milestone goal next month. If we can get to 3,000 subscribers on the channel, and I'm hoping this will work, I'm going to bring back the Multiverse story arc where I was venomizing Transformers and that. And for the very first one, I'm going to be doing all 5 of the Dinobots in the story. And they will be... I plan to do them as proper piece. I don't know if they're going to be combined together in one illustration, or they're going to be 5 separate illustrations that tie in together with a combined background between them, and you can have them separate or as a group. But yeah, it's going to be the Dinobots, because I did say about doing it, and it did win a poll ages ago, venomizing the Dinobots. And I got to that part of the Multiverse story arc. Sorry for yawning, guys. I know it's kind of like 11 PM here, but a bit tired. But never mind. The Multiverse story arc got to where Grimlock was just being venomized. He just got hit by a symbiote, but we never drew him. So his story needs to continue with the Dinobots. And then eventually I'm going to have the Dinobots and the Predacons battle each other. Venomized versions. So the venomized Predaking against the venomized Dinobot one. Possibly. It'll also depend on how many people submit. As I say, I have noticed, I don't know if it's just down to time of year or topic. I've got the same regulars submitting, but there's not a lot of new submissions that happening, which is a bit of a shame. They've kind of died down a bit on some of them, so I need to bring some back in. I will still be doing the redraws one way or the other, because they are fun and they will happen. And I guess as I continue to grow the channel a bit more, with the plans to the subs, then we'll get more submissions for them, which should be quite cool. Right, well, this is actually looking quite weird and, yeah, quite interesting. I want to put this down here to seal this bit off. That can come back to that bit there. I kind of want to have things floating, maybe, or something. But I also want to shrink this down a bit for our Kaiju, because I want to add more of a body behind it. So this is going to come down to about here, go down here. There's also another reason I've kind of shrunk the body down a bit for this, is because I want to add the... kind of ribs, and if it's more serpent-like for the snake-like body bit, I want to add those ribs in. One of the key features of GhostFreak for me is those ribs that were showing through. I think that's kind of a crucial bit to have in the design, as well as having I guessing this is going to go down here, and then this is going to start going this really creepy style. Design that we've got, and I want to have some of these torn bits here. No worries, Callahan19. Thanks for joining the stream, and we'll catch you next time. Do we have anybody lurking in the background? How many likes do we have on the video? Welcome back, Justin. Yeah, Justin, maybe if I did deconstruct a dragon, I could draw a wolf, but I can draw a wolf. It's just, for some reason, at times I can't. Which is a little bit frustrating and annoying, but it's one of those things. I kind of want that to go here. For some... How do I feel that the Teen Titan Go writers on the Mario movie? I feel like as long as they bring the humor from Teen Titans Go, but not the stupid artwork style or the really stupid, there's a few stupid bits in there. If they brought out the decent humor from it and kept true to like, if they know their stuff, it will be amazing. However, I'm a bit worried now that you put that. I reckon it's going to be an amazing film, but still, it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Right, so I think I kind of figured out GhostFreak down in colours, so I need to find a... Based on the trailers, it looks like an original story. Story Tomorrow and Luigi. But... Maybe. I mean, I haven't seen all the trailers. I've been trying to keep the kind of wanting to keep minimal trailers for it because of all the hype, just to make sure it kind of ties in and works how I want it to. Well, works for how I want to see it. I'm not worried by spoilers and that, but it is nice from time to time to have it without all of the hype and everything. I realise music's gone currently, but how's the sound from the fan? Am I talking? Can you hear the fan, or is it just you can hear my talking and it's no fan? Probably picking up every movement of the chair where it squeaks and stuff, but you know. Just wondering if you guys can hear the fan still, or if it's a lot quieter than normal. Oh, Donkey Kong is teaming up with Mario based on the trailers too. Oh, okay. I kind of saw that happening from that first trailer, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. Yeah, can you hear the fan, or is it quiet? I'm going to put music back on in a second. However, I'm just... I got an idea if we got anything energetic, cheery, or strange to music-wise as I'm drawing these. Hey DempseyJ Gaming, how are you? We're good. We're working on our GhostFreak Kaiju and just seeing what we can do. So yeah, so this is what we've kind of got so far. Very GhostFreak style. No, I appreciate that. Make sure you leave a like on the video, but I appreciate you popping in before you go to sleep. Justin, you should do it. Make a short out of it and see if you can get it to go viral. Yeah, you guys might have noticed I've been doing more shorts and stuff lately. I'm trying to use the shorts to promote the content on the channel to more people. So I've been trying to come up with really cool ways of showing the artwork or showing a teaser of it and have that going. Hopefully over time that will kind of tie in really well, but we shall see what happens with that. I think that's our line art done. It kind of looks a bit odd at the moment, but it will make sense once it's kind of rendered. Assuming I can find all the bits I need for the rendering. Haha. And find all the bits that have to have a closed line. That's cool, Tegan. Glad you've been lurking in the background. Do I think the unusual way of starting made a difference? Potentially, it does depend. It definitely has made a difference on some areas. I just want to check the... Okay, so there's something along here that's letting it in. It's probably that one there. It's kind of weird when you go through the process bit by bit and you find the bits. This is the fun part. This is why you make sure your line's always closed as much as possible when you do your line art, especially your outer line, so you don't lose any sections when you do it, because if you lose a couple of sections it can make it very difficult to know what part of the illustration you're working on. I think that's everything looking at that. If I invert that, give that a solid colour. In fact, let's have some more fun. And then give that a darker background. So, I guess the question is, do we do this like the Mario one, where we figure out the lighting on it first, or do we just go straight into the flats and then do the lighting at the end? We probably will have to break this into two parts, because this is going to be quite a detailed piece. I'm planning to make this really detailed, so it will be a part 1 and a part 2. We'll get the flats done and get to a nice comfortable spot this evening, and then we'll see where we go from there. I may do a second stream on Wednesday to finish this one off. I am planning to get the stuff out of the way, but that also depends on the video content going. Maybe like the Mario one, you mean where I did the so we had kind of like a multiply layer over the top, and then we blocked out the colours a little bit. That's cool, we can do that. Block out some colour bits and some lighter and darker sections in general on it. I don't want to do an overly huge amount, just want to do enough to block out the main bulk of the lighting. I think the music's starting to play a bit on its own now, which is quite cool. Only took like 2 hours for it to start playing. Only 2 hours to start playing the music properly. It may seem really daft, but I kind of know where the lighting's going to be hitting, because I can picture I'm breaking the shapes down and then trying to follow the shape of the actual the curvature of the shape. And this is the secret to making, pro tip, the secret to making something look realistic shading even on this type of rendering is, if I go on to, for example, this arm, most people will just go, yeah, we'll block a colour out, shell shade it, and that's all going to be that colour, which is great. But if you actually think about it, you're going to have, maybe this whole bit will be dark, really dark, this bit a bit under here, but then you'll have other areas that will be like, that might get a bit of darkness, but then you'll have a few bits in here that might get the darkness for texture, but there will be also light from where it's coming, your light source is coming down the top bit this way. So you know you're going to have shadows on the underside, and you add those extra bits in, and it starts bringing the volume. But you also follow the curvature. But what I mean by that is probably the worst example there, but you follow the curve, so your shadows follow the shape of whatever you're looking at. So in this one, you've got a light bit there, that'll pick up light, whereas this bit will be dark. Because the light coming in here may highlight on this bit depending on how the skin folds or flaps, which would be quite useful and quite good. So it's a case of just working way through that and then picking out where your light and your dark bits will be. Which is quite a good pro tip, because it is useful to know roughly how much you kind of want to darken out from where the light's coming. And there'll be some areas like down here where it'll be a bit lighter going up to the neck, but a lot of it will be dark. And as for this bit, this is going to be like completely dark down here until it picks up. Just start to look a little bit weird, but never mind. It's quite cool. We'll see what happens. If anyone's joined in on the chat or joined the stream, feel free to say hi, or feel free to just hang out in the background and watch the illustration in progress. We're doing GhostFreak as kind of like a kaiju. So we started a Ben 10 kaiju series on the live streams. We haven't figured out lots of lore for each of the kaiju. We did on one of them, I think the Crystalline Defender, the Diamond Head kaiju, kind of had a bit more lore to it. That was developed in the live stream chat. But all we're doing really is just looking to add a rough idea of lights and shadows at this stage to kind of bring this to life a little bit more. So to get an idea of where the light's going to hit, the shadows are going to hit, where to put the next layer on top of multiply to make darker shadows, to kind of make it'll look a bit like a golden statue by the time it's done, or I don't know, maybe a butter statue looking at this with the colour, but it will tie in by the end of it to be working in a way that's bright for the illustration. And there's some bits that will be in the shadows, but they'll pick up a bit of a light later on. So, for example, this bit's going to be in the shadows. It's going to be darker in here, but this may also pick up the light than that. But this may not be quite so dark in some areas because it will pick up a bit of light coming through. And then it's also thinking about all these lines for the couple of sharp lines in here to kind of just imitate the kind of like the tentacles or the growing bits coming out of the chest, which is quite cool. Oh, I may actually have to change my headphone over. Hang on, guys. We've been going so long my headphone is about to die. So the next question is, can you guys still hear me okay? Let me know in the chat if you can actually hear me right now. It should be connected and it should be on full connection, all fine. You should be able to hear my voice. I will put the music back on because that seems to have stopped again. So I can hear the music, but can you guys in the chat hear me talking or waffling on right now? Because I've just swapped the headphone over due to the fact that the battery was dying in that one. Assuming anybody's still in the chat, that is. Cool. Thank you, Minecraft Transformers. Appreciate you letting me know that you guys, and Crazy for a Day. Appreciate you guys letting me know you can hear me and I'm not talking to an empty stream. Although I'll still continue with the artwork to a certain point, regardless. I think that's creepy music coming on now. That's quite cool. Right, so if I turn that on to multiply there as well, this is the kind of bit of the extra shadow details to work out where they're going to be as such. Tegan has a question. What are good writing or drawing practices? Drawing practices are usually the line. So if you want to draw a straight line, you don't actually draw with your wrist in a motion like that. You draw with your whole elbow in a line, and you get a much straighter line. Quicker motion as well. It's a good drawing practice. Also, references. Do case studies. So if you want to learn how to draw something in particular, you can learn how to draw that by studying other images of that item. Reference images are great, which work, and same with writing in a sense. Writing practices are. I'm not an expert on these. You might have to look it up, but some writing practices are take the concept for your story and then write it out and then come back to it later after you've rewritten a couple of paragraphs and see what you can improve. Also, a good practice to do is to get the opinion of someone else on it for constructive feedback and criticism, not negative ones, and there'll be some people are complete idiots in this regard, but constructive criticism about it. So feedback, and then see if the feedback will work. You can always, if it's digital, you can always do it on a new layer. If it's drawing, you can always rub a bit out or try it and draw a rough version of it and see what happens. But I guess good writing and drawing practices are refinement, feedback, and build up the skills based upon what your goal or your aim to do is. So if you wanted to draw hands, for example, study drawing hands, different techniques, different methods of doing it, find which works for you. But at the same time, if you're writing a story, you may, as a practice and exercise, write a scene out. So write the who, where, what, and why for a scene, write a couple of paragraphs for it, get some feedback on it, come back to it a bit later and have a look at it yourself as well to reread it, see if it makes sense, and then see if you can improve it. And depending on what words you take out, you swap or you do, same for the picture, what elements you take out, swap or do, you'll get a completely different feel and just a whole vibe from it, which will be useful to build up what you need to build up for improvement. I guess the key thing is, whether it's a drawing or writing, your storytelling. I mean, I'm just doing an illustration, so it doesn't, and sometimes that isn't always storytelling, but usually you're storytelling in what you're doing. So you have a set goal, a set message, and you're working towards that. Because of that, You want to have that in mind when you're doing your picture, your illustration, your story, or the bit of writing for it, the lore, and then you want to see what you want to convey. So emotion, message, the final response you're going for, do you get that from it? If you change this, how does it change that? How does it change your end goal? I think that's probably the best advice there, is keep your goal in mind at all times. Refer back to it, because that's going to be what drives your... That's going to be what drives it, really. Hopefully that's helped you, Tegan. It's a very good question, and hopefully I've done a good enough answer to get you started on that one. As I say, I'm trying to build my writing skills up and my storytelling skills up, but I'm still in the learning stages myself. Let's get that music on. So yeah, so I guess it is the key thing of that is conveying emotion is the key core of anything that you're kind of doing as a artist, writer, storyteller, filmmaker, anything where you effectively are telling a story. You want to tell the story, have the emotion, get them hooked in on it. I'd also YouTube best writing practices and find what the most common ones are. Have a look at them and see if it's something that you can do, but also see if it's something that you want to do. Always look for the ones that are free, not the ones that you got to sign up for, because I guarantee the information in the ones that they want you to sign up for is actually in the free ones, or is taking it to the next step that you can discover on your own. They're just going to tell you how to do it slightly quicker. And if you got the money spare, great. If you don't, I wouldn't recommend it. That's just my advice on that one. Welcome back, Crimagard. How's it going? I'm just working out some darker hard shadows on this too. Pretty much just quickly drop in a feel for the light and shadows. I want to get onto the flat colours in a bit, but I also want to just make sure I've got some of that looks kind of decent. I'm back bigger and better than ever. Crimagod, did you ever go a growth spurt? Is that why you're bigger and better than ever? I've got to say, I'm quite excited this week. This is going to be a big week for the channel. For those that are here, 8 viewers that we got, which is awesome. I say 8 viewers. I think we've got 8 viewers. It depends if my screen's up to date or not. Concurrent viewers. Maybe we've got more viewers. How many viewers have we got? If you're in the chat and you want to say hi, and we'll see how many we've got. Hey Tipcentric, how's it going? Hey, that's cool. We tend to average, depending on what we're doing, between 7 and 8 usually, depending on the day of the week and the time and just what everyone's schedules are as well. So that's cool. I'm happy with that. To be honest, I'm happy when anyone shows up, if it's one person or 100 people. What do you think that I'm getting? Am I getting bigger? I haven't seen you in a long time, so I would say yes, you're growing. In fact, I say in a long time, I've never seen you, Kremagod. Not in person. In fact, I don't even think I've seen a picture of you, so yeah, I've only heard your voice. Judging by your voice, growing. That's not a problem, Tipcentric. Appreciate you've got lots to do. After what you're saying on the Discord the other day about, you know, the amount of stuff you have to go through and spend time with your channel and stuff, that's insane. Okay, so let's make this darker. Just want to see if I can get the right lighting contrast. I think that'll work. That's quite cool. So that'll work for my base lighting. I'm happy with that. Cool. I'm glad you like how it's turning out, Tipcentric. It's got the kind of GhostFreak head kind of design on it, and then we're just building things up in between me manually putting the music back on when it stops and sorting things out. But I'm probably going to go maybe another hour, 45 minutes to an hour. This will most likely be a part 1 of 2, but I want to get the basic let's merge these down actually. So I wanted to get the basic lighting in and on here, so I can use it as a bit of a concept with the I suppose that does need to be underneath, otherwise I'm going to have a problem. Just working out the best way to sort the next few steps, because now I've got to add colour. I want to add the colour of GhostFreak, which is going to be more like purples and greys and blacks. It's just working out the right shade to add to the respective bits. So these bits here are definitely going to be more on the black section. I will lock that there so I don't lose out. And this is the bit where the kind of like the core thing of what you do with the illustration, the kind of like design in that, is a case of once you've got this design in and I've blocked out a rough lighting structure, I'm adding the flats on a layer above it. Now I could potentially multiply the layer or something and then just have it come out the darker colours with the highlights on and then pick up them. Shit, I might do that. I might give that a go while I'm talking about that. We'll see how it works on this bit in a second. Let's change this thing. I will sort this outline bit. It's come back, this kind of like this bitty outline. I did have that sorted at one point, but I did change some of the settings, so I will sort that out for the next stream by trimming around that. There's no point erasing all that to start with. Just actually noticed I'm using the same colour as the background, so let's make this background more. That's better, there's a contrast between it now. Dempsey, did you hear about the new panda monster Ben 10 turns into? It's called Burn 10. Oh, Chroma God. I love your puns, and at the same time, I die a little inside. That's how you know it's a good pun. Oh, tip-centric. This week should be the week where I can, well, by next week, I should have been able to... By next week, I should be able to, press that little button in the earn page. That's the plan. Assuming you're still here. Right, so this is... Yep, that's the plan. Technically, in theory, there's the potential to be able to do it this week, but it depends on how everything goes. But I won't know for like 2-3 days if there's any. Well, I'm not going to know till the end of the week either way. Just thinking about it. But I'm super excited about it. It's like, yes, nearly there, nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. Yeah, that'd be quite cool if they do that. I am checking it on a regular basis, but I know it's 2 days behind, so I've been jumping into the actual analytics and getting the current values, and then once I get the current values, take the shorts time away from it, and then looking at that as the value I'm currently on. So that should in theory be right, but I know that's at least a day behind. However, that's still closer than the earn page one, so I will be keeping an eye on that. Are you on about last week's episode from Popcross? What did he do on that one? I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I watched it. Was that his more monstrous one? Yeah, I think I did see that one. If it's the more monstrous one, where he took things. I can't remember. I know I've watched it. I reckon I just can't remember all the ins and outs. No, which one was Fridays? Remind me of Fridays. I'll tell you if I watched it. Oh no, wait. His one was the Kratos one. Is the Mandalorians? No, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched the Mandalorian one. No, sorry, that's my bad. I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But I know why he's done that because the new series has been announced, coming out on Disney Plus, isn't it? Which I wish I'd actually thought about that because that would have been an awesome one to do. Hey, wait, I wanted that line. Chroma God. What's your favourite Chroma God? The pun one, because a good laugh is always needed. I'm interested to see what what's it? There's something else interested to see what's happening. There's something going on soon. I remember it in a bit. I started drawing something and I got distracted. Let's change the music up a bit. I'm not feeling that one. Yeah, we'll have a funky tune on for now. Bit of a pick-me-up tune. It's a punner god. Yeah, I prefer a punner god than a puny god. Just completely cheat and just turn everything one colour there. It's like, yep, done. There is method to my madness, don't worry about it, guys. I have just completely covered the entire structure, I think, with a single colour, but it will make more sense in a bit. I'm going to try that technique where I set it to multiply layer, and then I should have a rough version of the light and dark shadows to work on. I think once I get to that stage, I'll probably stop at that point tonight, just because I don't want to. I'll pick this up one up again. I don't want to do too much and get to a point where it doesn't make sense to stop, but at the same time, I also don't want to burn out. Love the way it kind of looks like it's got a lizard head at the top and then it's got like another head at the bottom. Mine is a chrome. Oh, I kind of looked up and read that, didn't I? Those are teeth. Okay, so I need to make this look like a character, but I can't do that until after 10 minutes. So what's the other? Is it really just on those back bits? Because that needs to go onto a layer. Perfect now. In fact, let's just alpha lock that and do it. That is a pro gamer artist music. Yeah, no, this is quite cool. Cool soundtrack. I always feel like when I'm doing these colours on a kaiju with like the textured skin and that, it looks kind of like a symbiote from where I've rendered them out in other videos, which is quite cool. But at the same time, it's like look a bit more like a symbiote. I actually did start I did put some of the Ben 10 characters into the multiverse story arc and did some Ben 10 Venomized characters, which was quite cool. I also need to while I remember, just erase this entire block here. If you guys wonder what Dempsey's IQ level is, I won't set it to less than 1,000. My IQ level's not actually that high in terms of 1,000. I did a test and I think it was around 110 several years back, so I got no idea what it is now. It's probably gone down a lot since then. Yeah, but I wouldn't go WoW, Crimagod. It's the tests were online tests, so they kind of, it's like an online. I don't know how legit the test is. You find that I don't even know if it scores it right in the first place. So, hello, Anita Queen's mum. I'm good. How are you? We're just working on pretty much the flats to then do some basic light and shading on this Kaiju version of GhostFreak from Ben 10, which looks a bit more like a creepy lizard character, but it's turning out quite good so far. I did say earlier I'm probably going to go up to the point where I've got the flats done and I've got to a point where I'm happy to stop this evening because I'm a little bit tired. It's been a bit of a manic day and manic weekend, but it is a big week as well for the channel. There will be a new series dropping on Friday, which should be quite cool. I need to finish off the lore for that. I'm about halfway through that. First episode's lore, and I got to finish off some artwork for it. I would draw commissions. It would depend on what the context of that is when someone messages me directly on that, to whether I would draw it or not. I guess it depends on the commission, what it is, and if it's something that I feel I can draw or do justice to. I won't ever take a commission I don't think I can do the artwork for. I don't believe it's right when people do that, when they look at they take on a commission, they do it, and they're not confident enough to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done stuff for people on commissions before. You got to do it at some point, and that. So if there was an appropriate amount and it was something that I could draw and viable and didn't go against, you know, it was suitable for that topic, then yes, there is a potential that I would do it. But it depends on a case-by-case project basis behind this, you know, when people message you behind the scenes and stuff. Would I do it often? I don't know. If it's a commission, and yeah, possibly. No worries, Shade Hunter. We're basically working out the flats, going to try a technique, and probably going for about another half an hour-ish, maybe a bit longer. But whatever we don't do today, I might do another stream on Wednesday to finish off, because I'm not quite at the point currently where it's anywhere near finished on this one. Could I draw a baby Vaporeon? Do you mean like a chibi style, looking like it's kind of like just like it's an infant version of a Vaporeon, like a standard Vaporeon? Then yeah, I could potentially draw that at some point. That wouldn't be too difficult to do, to be honest. Getting the style right and the look right and the feel right for it is the tricky part, but doing that as just a normal picture, then yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Right, I need to find a... be on that layer. I will look at the chat again in a second, guys. I want to get some of this sorted. What's the I was going to look at? There's a bit. This bit. I'm going to turn it to that blue. I've locked that layer, so that's not going to work. Okay, that's fine. That makes more sense. Um, I've never looked at any, to be honest. So I would not be able to answer that question. Dempsey, could you draw Chroma God and Dempsey together hugging and it'll be I don't know, Chroma God. I will have to ask how my actual sons feel about that one. Just to make sure I don't get in any trouble. Because, you know, I don't want to get in trouble with the kids. Right, so this bit here is going to be interesting. I need a Kaiju. Because this is where some of the details are going to come into play on this one. This is going to be insanely difficult. That's not a problem, Shade Hunter. Thank you for joining so far, and you know, we'll catch you next time. But I do appreciate that. Right, this bit here. Can I get rid of just drawing this? This is gonna go. Oh, this is gonna get complicated. This is going to get really complex on these bits. I'm not really sure how to draw this bit on the neck. I'm gonna have to start on the other areas and work my way around it. Just the kaijus have these kind of like blue glowing vein bits that happen. Oh yes, the music. Well spotted, Chrome God. Thank you for that. This is also going to come along these. I have to do the tendril ones separately on a separate layer. Quite a lot of this weird blue veiny type substance on them, don't they? Figure out Pokemon for a minute, guys. Do you guys think I should do another Pokemon live stream at some point, or do a series with Pokemon on the channel, like Mech Armors? Like, you know, I know I've got Pokemon Mech Armors, but do you think I should do another video on it, or do superheroes, or I know Popcross did Pokemon D&D characters, which means it's a little bit more unique compared to what I would potentially do for that, because I might have to copy in a series that he's done, but maybe taking Pokemon and doing something. I don't want to do Pokemon SCPs because, you know, that's being done, so making them more creepy looking is not really something I'm after doing. I appreciate that, Kremagod. That's always good to know. Yeah, I tend to upload most of the series that I get uploaded on the channel are ones that I want to do, which is quite cool. There's only been one or two where I promised something and I'm like, ah no, or I've done something and I'm like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't done that now, or I've done it and it's a one-off because it just never kicked off properly, or never seemed to work properly, which is a bit of a shame. But Yeah, it's because people have liked the stream and then they've had to go for real life reasons. They've jumped in or out, or they've dipped in, they've liked it, and they've had to dip off. Dipped in, dip off. They basically jumped into the stream and had to jump off for like something's come from real life. They've got things to do, or they've had to go to sleep and stuff. But the likes still count on the stream because they liked it. It's just the case of the current viewers. So what you've got on your likes are completely different. It may feel like I'm doing a bit of overkill on this, but because Kaiju's have these, I'm kind of wanting to make sure I do this, but I also want to do something else. And then, so the trick here is to duplicate a layer, Gaussian blur it, and then you start to get that glow effect. Then I can turn this to a add layer, and I've got that weird glowing Kaiju effect that happens. Same as down here. So I want to Gaussian blur this layer. A little bit. That's not going to work on that one, is it? Never mind. That one's different. That one needs a add layer above it, and it just needs a little bit of drawing in. I'll put a proper light effect on that later. Also need to do a music. Need to do this on this one in the mouth of the character, which will be quite interesting because I need to the effect is almost an effect, a bit of a really good night music. This is like a really chilled, relaxing one because if that's the case, I might go to sleep in a minute. No, I'm not going to sleep just yet. I'll continue this a bit more, but I'm going to. I think that'll do for that bit. So next thing that I want to do is I wanted to merge these layers down one by one. And then change them to be right on this one. I should just be able to take out the saturation. I've kind of got most of the lighting in place bar textures now. That's actually a really useful tip. So top tip, guys, do your values in a single color on the layers. Set your layer to multiply. After you've done it, you can use whatever color you want. Set your layer to multiply and apply your colors over the top of it, or do the flats and then set to multiply once you've got the colors you want. And then set your actual layer, which had the original color on, to grayscale to completely kill the saturation on it. Command Shift U in Photoshop or Hue and strip it out. And then all you have to do is adjust the values of your multiply layer or your brightness on your layer, and you actually have a basic set of shadows. And the more detail you do, the more you'll get, which works out really nicely. So the next bit I'm going to do is add some texture over the top. Which makes this darker until I put it on the right layer mode. I'm adding some texture over the top so that this will start looking a bit more. I can set it to a multiply layer and just drop the opacity. This time around, I'm going to do a multiply layer. But you got this now. You've got this texture in place on here, which just adds to it a bit. So even if you took out the, let's go turn that off. Sorry. Even if you take out the main bits for some of it, it will. So even if that was onto a normal layer, you'd still get this quite nice texture. Go back to multiply, I quite like that. And then obviously, because the Kaiju's got that glowing blood, I've done the glowing effect on it, which means I can also go into here. I can make this kind of have a bit more of a. Which one's that one? That the. Oh, but, oh, I merged them together, that's fine. So if I duplicate that, I set that to normal. I duplicate that because I want to have that effect again. And all I want to do is set that to be more of a. We've really started to get that kind of glowy Kaiju blood feel, which is quite good. Which works out really well and quite nicely actually on that one. So I guess we've got the base lighting in for it. We've got this in. I suppose potentially look at adding a bit of a background behind it maybe. Just something so it doesn't look like it's just floating. Actually, no, it could just be floating. I kind of want to leave it there for tonight, guys, and have it as a kind of like a nice piece where we've got it to this point, and then finish it off on the next one while I have a think about what I'm going to do with these glowing elements, because I want to add a layer of light and shadow over the top of it. In fact, actually, does that work? I'm just going to test it in a second before we call it a night, guys, because it is getting quite late here, and oh, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work quite nicely, that, because we can then have these a bit darker in the darker areas and lighter in the lighter areas, so that we've got this kind of cool effect on it coming out. Now that's going to work, so that's cool. I'll remember that for next time. Yeah, so I think we're going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Any questions before we disappear, or are we all good? I want to thank everyone for watching and taking part, because I appreciate it all. And without you guys, wouldn't have the channel, wouldn't have the live streams. But yeah, just got to see, give it a second. No questions from Chroma God, that's cool. In that case then, I think we will, the music stopped and it's a just under 2.5 hours, so it's a good place to stop. Thanks, Tipcentric. Appreciate that. We're definitely going to finish this off in another stream, so I will try and get one scheduled in this week to do it. But if I can't, it's definitely going to be next Monday. We'll finish this illustration off, which will be quite good. And don't forget, there's a new Friday's episode. Well, Friday's video on the channel will be something that I haven't done on the channel before, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Awesome. Catch you later, guys. Bye.